place. There are a couple of just little oddball items.
Okay.
In here, this whole cabinet is not attached to the wall. It's required to be attached to the wall.
The bathroom cabinet or this cabinet?
Little cabinet and countertop.
Okay.
It needs to be attached to the wall, even if you just put L brackets in. It's just to stop it from moving around in an earthquake, blah, blah, blah. And it's just one of those codes. You know, it's like, hey, don't do 32 miles or 33 miles an hour in the local zones, because the cop will give you a ticket.
Yes, they
Oh,
will.
come on, it was only 2 miles up. Doesn't matter, it says 30. There's the ticket, shut up. So that needs to be mounted.
Okay.
I would highly recommend that you guys, are they taking the washer dryer with them?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, when you put yours in, you want a pan, or you want, better yet, you want to have a flood detection system and or flood stop. Because with all of this beautiful hardwood floor for that washing machine, and trust me, I got piles and piles of emails over the years. Oh, Rich, we should have done, yeah.
Yeah.
And what it'll do is it'll prevent, if the washing machine ever dumps water into the pan, it'll shut the water off. Instead of it coming through and ruining the entire lower floor of the house.
Ounce of prevention.
Pardon?
It's an ounce of prevention.
Yes.
Exactly. And you know what? I do 2 to 250 inspections a year, and I'll guarantee you there's a half a dozen of them in there.
Okay.
And I get the letters. Well, you could have told us this. I said, check the report. Told you exactly what you should have done.
That's a
So
good
it's,
one.
you know, a lot of this is just, I've been doing it for so long. I kind of know which foot goes in front of the other one and giving you a heads up. So that's a heads up. And if
Okay.
you ever want to call me about, hey, Rich, what did you say?
Yeah.
There's a couple of different alternatives for that.
Okay.
So as we come through it here, everything was good. The dishwasher ran through a cycle. Garbage disposal. I got the 2 plastic discs out of there, and what the hell they were doing in there. But I got them out. The cooktop, the oven, the vent. Everything's okay over here.
Oh. Microwave
On
here.
the exterior, that block wall, strangely enough, is leaning about 3 inches. But that's part of the association.
Okay.
So if and when anything needs to be done about it, they'll come in and do it.
Okay.
The electrical out here, and it's also attached to the bathrooms. The power is out. It's not the breaker. There's got to be a GFI somewhere in the circuit. Now, normally, if it's not in the garage, which is so much stuff on the walls in the garage, I can't get at it, the homeowner will know exactly where it is.
Okay.
So right now, we've got no power in the bathrooms or the exterior electrical, including the over on the fireplace there.
Because it tripped.
It's tripped the GFI, but I've looked everywhere.
Okay.
But once again, I don't start moving stuff off
So
the
did you
shelves.
do that? So I should let them know because it'll be a surprise.
No, I didn't do it. I just said, when I got here, it was on the
okay.
exterior.
Oh,
And the first thing I did was push a test plug in there, and it would notice it was dead. So check the upper one, it's dead. And it happens. And the GFI
Yeah.
just decides, pop, so get caught. But it was working fine this morning. It's not working at lunchtime. That's just the way it is.
Okay.
Now, when I find the GFIs in the kitchens, I make sure the GFIs are in there and I start trying to trip them. So I know that they all function, and they all do.
Okay.
So when I thought that, oh, it's a bathroom. So I went in the bathrooms, not in the bathrooms. Went in the garage, not in the garage. Couldn't find it. They'll know where it is.
Okay.
It's simply a GFI that's popped. So that wall is leaning. That fireplace out there, you know, those things are great. Don't know how they'll perform in an earthquake, but you just have to be aware of it.
Okay.
Now, you can have the handyman put from the fireplace something back to the wall, although if the wall keeps tipping, you might not want to do that. So just little dumb stuff.
Did
Okay.
you notice the fence over there on the back left corner? Looks like it's leaning. Where the ivy's on it. See how the fence...
That much ivy on it?
Yeah. Just a little bit on that end. I noted that.
You know, it's just the weight of the ivy that's moving.
But it looks so pretty.
Yeah. So, you know, there's ways just to go and support that, but it's if it's leaning in that direction, it means you've got to pretty much do it from the other side. And you can put some additional posts in there to solidify it. There's quite a bit of wood deterioration in this patio cover, particularly on the beams running lengthways on it. There's fungus growing in that. By the time, if the termite guy touches this, by the time he gets into it, quite often he starts doing this and that, and then it progressively gets more and more pieces coming out. So that's kind of a dumb idea. Somebody drilled holes into the deck up there to let the water come off, and as a result, that water runs down. It's dropping right from there. It's dropping in on this electrical box. Now, it's just not a good idea. And you see, so you got some wood deterioration on some of the trim. You've got some wood deterioration in some of the fence material, which is perfectly normal for a yard, but it's just something to be aware of. And there's some loose boards in there. While we're out here, you're supposed to have 4 inches of clearance underneath your neighbour's stucco, as your neighbour over here has to have 4 inches of clearance underneath your stucco. Neither side is like that. Now, the likelihood of that causing a problem is not that great, but the code says 4 inches. So if these people ever get any water damage in there, then they'll say it's your fault because you don't have the appropriate clearance underneath the stucco.
Okay.
So
have a gardener just dig a trench.
Just dig that, or you want a little bit of dirt taken out, and then you reposition the drains. So it's an easy fix. Do you need to do it? Well, if that didn't leak with that big storm we had in November, then usually that you go, oh, you know what, whatever's happening, it's doing what it's done for the longest while. But then there's a wood fence down there also preventing the water from getting out of the way. But the drains obviously work, so that's a good thing.
Okay.
So I'm just taking you through that quickly. It's all in the report for you. Got that. Tiles up on the roof. That roof's probably in the region of 5 to 10 years old. Unusual broken tiles, unless the wind did it. But I got a bunch of photographs of them, so I've just been up there and done that. So we come through here. You don't have any children, but do you have any grandchildren?
No.
Okay. These windows now, we have to have safety glass in them, but not when this was put in, because kids will run and get up on there, they'll sit on there. It becomes a seating area,
Yes.
a play area.
Yeah.
And like this glass has got safety glass in it, this doesn't, because it's older. Just be aware of it. The kids come over, particularly when you've got a couch in here, they jump up on there, and hands or heads or elbows. Fireplace is functional, everything's okay on that. So as we come through here and up, I've got my booties on. Now, there's some cracking in here. The crack runs across here. It's been patched at one point in time. This has been patched at one point in time. A small crack there, and then there's another crack running right there. This is all cosmetic. Okay. But it could have been patched better. It will probably, in the next earthquake, it just happens to be a pivot point. So that's where the cracks will show up, wherever there's a pivot point, a little bit of resistance. There's nothing to worry about, but just making you aware of it so that you, going forward, don't go, hey, I never noticed those cracks before.
Okay.
I wonder if Richardson, yeah, he did. He's a pain in the neck. You need to change that filter out. It's quite dirty. Okay. And that's when you get moved in. That would be the first thing you do is just change it out. I would put an allergy-free filter in there just for the first go around. Just clean up the dust and the dirt. Okay. This skylight was added at some point in, probably when they put the new roof on. It doesn't have the appropriate flashing on it. Now it hasn't leaked in 5 to 10 years, but if and when it does, it's an easy spot for the roofer come and say, hey, that leaked because you don't have a flashing on it, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Make sure they leave this opens that skylight. Yeah, okay. So it's a little bit tricky to get it to sit in there, but it is doable. I did open it up partial way, just to test it. Okay. The switch for the fan and the lights are right here. You don't have enough smoke detector coverage, and there's at least 2 of the bedrooms, and some of them, they're older smoke detectors. So you're better off to put new smoke detectors with at least 1, possibly 2, that are smoke combination CO2. Okay. Okay.
There's none in here?
Well, there's some in the house, but there's these 2 rooms that don't have one. Oh. And then positioning of them and blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of people will put the smoke detector above the door. Well, if the bed catches on fire, you'll fill up the entire ceiling space before it comes down low enough to set the smoke detector off. So you put it where the manufacturer recommends you put them. They've already noted that they're going to replace these doors. And if you step out here, you can see that ledger along there. That won't show. It's all rotted out, as is that end right there. And then some of the other 2x2s have got some rot in them. Okay. What needs to be done here is they need to put an extra length of pipe on there to stop that water running down over the electrical boxes below it. Yeah, just redirect it. Okay. I'll just take a picture just to remind me.